Hey, you guys. I pushed the start button. Hey, yeah, I pushed the start button. I got us started a little early. I did. Okay, here we go. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. What a beautiful morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day. Look at that. Wow. My little backyard has been such a beautiful gift this year. Such a beautiful gift. To the thing that comes to me that I wanted to share with you today is that why, the question actually is more of a question, why, when so much evidence is available to us that there is a power, an all-knowing, benevolent, compassionate power in the universe. I mean, it's so obvious. Why do we say no to that power? Why do we say no? I got this. I think that many of us, and myself included, most of my life, underestimate the power of ego. We underestimate that ego, for some reason or other, that baffles the hell out of me, does not want us to have access to that power that we call the universal intelligence, or Father of Light, or whatever you want to call it, God, love, and ego seems to, for some reason, and I guess it doesn't really matter why, wants to separate us from that power. And so, I see so many examples of it because I'm working these days in the recovery field, and the truth is I've been working in the recovery field either personally for myself or, working with others forever, since the 80s, but more so these days I'm on the front lines, and I'm watching fellas who are given all the information, and they just need to step up and go through some of the actions to receive access to that power. Now, in a way, we're never really denied, no matter what we do. We're always living in that power, and it's just that it's like we're sitting in a Lamborghini and we refuse to turn the key. So we've got it. We're in it. It's like we're we're free falling with a parachute, and we refuse to pull the ripcord, and we say no, I got this, and we through all measures of deception, we try to prove that we can do this without this amazing power that's right here. So I'm baffled sometimes. I mean, obviously, the same thing. I lived that for most of my life, and I suspect that if things keep opening the way they are for me in this awareness, in some time in the near future, if them there, that I'll look back and say, wow, it just keeps opening, and I'll look back and say, my gosh, back in 2020, I didn't have near the experience that I'm having now. I mean, it's just that seems to be the path that it just keeps opening, and I keep seeing that it's not just like the simplicity of talking to a child and saying, God has a plan. It's we're living in the plan, and I think my experience is that no matter what it is that we decide, if we're inspired to do something on the planet, and we ask for help, no matter what it is we ask for help with, it's there, and so much has to do with our motives. If it's coming from fear, if we're we're asking for help because of fear of lack. You know, it comes, but it doesn't come the same way as it can come if we ask from faith. If we say, you know, with gratitude, thank you, God, thank you, universe, thank you, and that thank you opens the doors. That thank you is the magic that just, you know, and it I think it creates humility. Thank you, gratitude creates humility, and humility is the allows ego to step aside. Humility kind of pushes ego aside, and then we're there. We're in it. It's not something we have to earn. We're already there. It's just we can't see it. We're already in that immense power. That we are that immense power. But somehow ego says, nope, not for me. And so my message is always, you know, basically the same, that we can surrender all of the ideas about ourselves, everything that we think we are, literally, eventually, everything. You know, like Ram Dass said, becoming no one, becoming nobody, you know, and so we're not holding on to some idea of race or of sexuality. I'm a man or a woman, or I'm neither. You know, I'm somewhere in the middle. So we're identifying with some sort of a position. We let go of all of our positions, and how difficult is that? Just to surrender. We don't need to have positions. We don't need to be a liberal or a conservative. We don't need to. We can just surrender, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, and taste this power. And it's there. So, and we see that when we do our 4 and 5, how our resentments in 4 were based on us holding on to positions, saying this is the way it's got to be. And if somebody in our life wasn't delivering that way, we were resentful towards them. You know, oh, he hurt me. Whatever. You know, get over it. Just doesn't matter. And we see where we played a part in those things because we were trying to control and run the show. Step 1 in the 12 steps, you know, tells us that we are powerless over whatever the addiction was, the simplest part of this thing. And the next half of that step is that our lives were unmanageable because we were always trying to run the show. And later on page 62 in the big book, I think it is, it says that selfishness and self-centeredness, maybe it was 63, selfishness and self-centeredness, that was the root of our troubles. We were basically self-seeking. We were full of fear. And we had 100 forms of fear, 1,000 forms of fear. And so in that mess, why would we not want to surrender that? Turn that over. That's the cornerstone of getting out of the lower realms and the mess that we've lived in. So that's my message, you know, just surrender into it. It's there. Why wouldn't we want it? Why wouldn't we want it? And you know, I mean, lots of times we look at our lives and say, I'm doing okay. I'm okay. Yeah, that's no problem. I'm okay. But just imagine that you could be living at your full potential. Just imagine that we could all be living in such a higher potential. And there's so many beautiful examples of that around us, of people who have based their lives on service. How can I help is always the question. How can I help? When our life is based on service, it's based on love. You know, it's how can I help? And often we judge those people and say, oh, look, that because we don't believe that, you know, the universe is here to look after us, that we are in the cradle of love. And so we judge others, that, you know, we say, well, he didn't do it right, or he's interested in the money, or whatever. Don't, just let it go, you know. Who gives a shit? Money actually doesn't mean anything in a way. It's just a measurement of our level of service sometimes. And money doesn't necessarily equate to value. Do you know what I mean? We're paid in so many other currencies. So just let it go. Let go, let go, let go, and let God, you know. And no matter where you're at, it can start right now. I mean, no matter how far you've come, no matter how far we've come, you know, because many of us progressed, whether we know it or not. This doesn't take away from that. But right now is the beginning again. And right now is the beginning again. And right now is the beginning again. And we can just, a prayer. You know, I love the third step prayer in the 12 steps. It's just an amazingly, beautifully worded prayer. And, you know, it's like a contract of our life. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me. I offer myself to this universal intelligence. I surrender myself to this universal intelligence to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Not up to me, just let it go. And it'll come. Everything will even more magnificent than you could ever imagine. Build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me the bondage of self, because the bondage of self is what's keeping me from this amazing connection. Relieve me the bondage of self that I may better do thy will. That's the deal. That we get freed so that we can do God's will. And the will, as we see it, is to be love, to be in service, to always be asking, how can I help? And you'll be blown away by the opportunities to help and serve that'll show up, you know. And it isn't all about self-serving. It doesn't mean that we don't look after ourselves or we don't take a holiday, but we're always ready to do God's will. Take away the bondage of self, I may better do thy will. Isn't that beautiful? So, God, offer myself to thee to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me the bondage of self, I may better do thy will. And then take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help with thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. So may I do thy will always. It's a contract. It's a beautiful prayer. It sets us up for the rest of our lives. It really does. And so that's my little message today. Hey, Mel, I just did the third step prayer. It's such a beautiful prayer. So simple, you know, a life of service. Good to see you, my friend. I see spring is coming, and the magpies are attacking. I saw you on Facebook this morning. I have this book that I read from, and not everybody loves it because it was written in 1954, and in some ways the language can be a bit exclusive, you know, and a bit even racist. So I just change it as I go. I mean, the time was different, but I think the spirit was meant. It was written in good spirit. So I've been reading this now for 3 or 4 months. And I love sometimes the message that comes. I never know what it's going to say because I'm opening it right now for the first time today, you know. So this is from the 24-Hour Day book. It's a beautiful little piece. And things like a book like this. My daughter, when I was away camping this week with my family, she has 3 books. And not this one, but she has 3 little books that she reads from every day, and it helps to set the tone, you know, the tone of love and service. Yeah, and to help us remind us that we can fall back into ego and fall back into fear. You know, we have to kind of stay conscious. We bring consciousness, you know. And consciousness, I heard the other day, was a form of worship. I love it, to be conscious. So these little things that we do, little rituals that we do in the morning to help us be aware are a piece of the puzzle. So August 21st, thought for the day. Who are you, it says, to say there is no God? Right out of the book again, right out of the big book. This challenge comes to all of us. Are we capable of denying that there is a design and a purpose to all of life as we know it? Or are we willing to admit that faith in some kind of divine principle is part of our makeup, just as much as a feeling we have for a friend? This, by the way, is out of chapter 4, We Agnostics. If you've got a big book, read that chapter over and over again, because it really helps us with, our understanding, or of, not that we ever really understand, but that it takes away the prejudice. It takes away the old ideas that we had about some separate God. There is no separate God. We are all in the lap of God in every moment. God is not just around us. We don't connect with God. We realize that God created this all, and we're in it. We are it. Only separate when ego comes in and says no. So the word is yes. Here we go. Are we willing to admit that faith in some kind of divine principle is a part of our makeup, just as much as a feeling we have for a friend? Find a great reality. We find a great reality deep down within us. So that's it's within us because it's us. If we face ourselves as we really are, we find a deep reality deep down within us. If we face ourselves as we really are. In the last analysis, it's only there that God may be found. So we need to look within. So quiet. A little stillness helps. Just sit, meditate, breathe, surrender. When we find this reality within us, we are restored to our right mind. So we go to our natural state, which is unconditional love. Our right mind is a mind of love. Not a mind of fear, but a mind of love. Is it beautiful? Yeah, okay. And then the continuation thought for the day is, have I found this great reality? So my suggestion is to make this the most important thing. In Christian faith, it said, seek ye the kingdom of heaven. I don't know whether it was Socrates or Plato said, know thyself. Many of the belief systems have pointed that this is the most important thing. We find this connection, this who we are. The kingdom of heaven is in here, right? And we find this, we acknowledge this, we become aware of this, we are conscious of this, and then everything else is added on to us. It comes out of this. And otherwise, we're just mucking around. We're like flailing, We're like flailing in the water, Isn't it funny the idea that when somebody is drowning and sometimes you have to incapacitate them to save them. Sometimes you have to almost knock them out to save them because they're panicking. You have to get them from behind and hold them in a certain way to be able to drag them out of the water. And so often for us, when life is totally falling apart, it's the universe kind of disabling us so that we can see this amazing connection, this amazing love that we are. Behold, it says, it's the meditation of the day, I make all things new. When you change to a new way of life, you leave many things behind you. It is only the earthbound spirit that cannot soar. It is only the earthbound spirit that cannot soar. Loosen whatever the strands that tie you to the earth. It is only the earthly desires that bind you. Your new freedom will depend on your ability to rise above earthly things. Clipped wings can grow again. Broken wings can regain a strength and beauty unknown before. If you will, you can be released and free. Boom, I love it. Hey, Chris Combs. Hi, buddy. And then the prayer for the day, I pray that I may be freed from these things that hold me down. I pray that my spirit may soar in freedom. And it's available to us all. That's my message today. And why? Just why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we make it our number one priority? I'm here to tell you that I spent my life, most of it, trying to run the show. And man, I've, had a lot of stress, a lot of fear. I would wake up in the middle of the night and panic. And it's gone. It's gone. This beautiful sense of oneness is come in. It's no big deal. It's not some it's not some big deal. It really isn't. Toby. Hi, Toby. Toby, last day for tickets. Let's get that organized today. You guys, I have some tickets left for the raffle tomorrow. I'm you know, where I work at Fresh Start, we're raffling off a motorcycle, and the draw's tomorrow. So if you want it, I've got probably a dozen left. If you want some, get in touch with me after this morning. It's a beautiful heritage classic. Mel, you could win the Heritage Classic and then come to Canada and ride with us. Oh, it's okay. We can do the e-transfer. It's all right. We can do that. It'll all flow. It's all beautiful. Okay, love you guys. What a beautiful morning. You know, what a beautiful morning. Okay. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Love it if you went to YouTube and followed my channel. You know, subscribe to us on YouTube. Valley and Beyond, Project Awakening. David